And the clock is 1 minute before 6 p.m. But because of latency in YouTube streaming, I'm starting it a little bit early. So, in this video I'm going to do a terminal emulator. In case you don't know what a terminal emulator is kind of like this. It's a shell. Basically you can run any text-based program in it, but that's basically the idea. And I'm not going to start it entirely from scratch because I have written a terminal emulator before. If you remember seeing some of my old videos in which I run some Linux programs in DOS, that was me actually running a terminal emulator that I had written before, but it was written for DOS, and here is some code from that emulator. And I am going to be borrowing this code quite a bit for this project. By the way, is the audio and everything okay? I spent maybe 8 hours trying to make the audio sound good, and all the camera settings and color balance settings, and it's still not perfect. They may sometimes appear holes in my forehead and something like that, but it's not perfect, but yeah. So yeah, let me make this actually a little bit bigger so you can actually see it a little bit better. Maybe this one should go better. Yeah, this is a little bit better. You can see the text better. Audio is good. Alright. So this is one part of the project that I'm going to do. Basically copy this pre-existing code for the terminal emulator and update it a little bit. And then there's another part that I'm going to have to do, which is actual rendering. And because I'm not targeting DOS, I have to do it pixel by pixel myself. And I also have code for that beforehand, which is in my editor, PCIe. Wait, where was it? DOS editor. Yeah, here it is. So this is that editor, the editor that you have seen in most of my videos. If you Google search that editor, this should be the first link that pops up. That editor, which has the source code for that editor that I use in most of my videos. And about a year ago I ported this editor to Linux and other operating systems, so I actually have code here that renders fonts. Let me actually launch it up if I can do that. And yeah, you are on the screen right now. So this actually runs the editor, although the window is a little bit small because I have a 4K screen here, so the pixels are quite small here, so you probably cannot actually read this text because it is too small. But I do have the rendering part there, so I have to combine those two and do some touch-ups. And the reason why I'm actually doing a terminal program, why I'm not actually using Xterm, is something that will become clear later. I'm going to use it in my video productions for some reason. How did he write programs from scratch in C or C++? Yeah, well, I do. Warning is getting... Warning. What was the warning? Well, in any case, yeah, I'm doing a chroma screen here, so the entire screen is being chroma screened. Everything that is magenta here on this screen is getting replaced with that background image that is actually animated there, so... Hello, what was that? Hold Control to something. So everything that is magenta here is getting replaced with that animated picture that you see on the screen. I don't see it on my screen, but you see it because it happens in OBS. So anyway, let's get started. So start a new project, so it would be Well, tentatively it should be Terminal Emulator. Terminal Emulator, so... And let's practice some copy-paste coding. So I'm going to take two parts, those parts that I actually mentioned before. So that's the Terminal Emulator part and the rendering part, which I am going to copy to some extent. Yeah, this is Linux actually. Irashai. And sorry that I am not actually reading everything that you write, because it is kinda difficult to concentrate on trying to say something and trying to read your comments at the same time. I'm not very good at that, so I may notice something like there, notice me senpai, I may notice that kind of things sometimes, but don't count on it. So, what did I make? Yeah. So I need TTY part and I need rendering parts. And that's the two modules that I have thought so far. So TTY and that one too. And over here I don't need this. And for now probably might need this, so I will hold on to that. I will not need this, although I should probably hold on to that as well, because these templates, green font, transparent also, green font, really? Where does he fit green? Well, I can do green like this. Is this transparent? No, it's not transparent. Green is not transparent. So where was I? Fork PTY. I should probably start logically. The game that is animated in the background is The Talos Principle. Terminal.h. Yeah. It will take a little time until I read and actually analyze what was the code that I had here before, because I have not really done pre-studying for this project before, other than planning in my mind what I'm going to do. So I have to read some code here. So I won't need this part because I do have standard C++, so I don't need Borland C++ specific hacks here. So I'm going to delete that. Also, that seems like a hack. And this will be replaced with something, but I don't know yet what. And Conio is obviously not going to be used. If you don't understand yet what I'm planning on here, you can look up the Wikipedia article for Terminal Emulator. So that will be one part, and also probably you should read about ANSI codes, ANSI codes, ANSI escape codes. This article will be helpful, because these escape codes here will be something that my code will process, so these will be very important. And also these color supports. I'm planning, by the way, for 24-bit color support. This was discussed in Discord. Oh yeah, it's actually going super slow, so that's a bug in some player, so I'm going to skip that. Ctrl-C. I don't know what this is. What was I saying? Yeah, 24-bit colors, so this was discussed on our Discord channel just like a day or so. Lightweight Wikipedia page. Is this lightweight? No, it's not. I'm just logged in on my own account, and on my account I have some CSS file imports, so it looks different than normally. And the source code will be available somewhere. Probably I will put the Git link into the video description when this is done uploading and finishing and encoding and that kind of things. Thank you, Junbo Wang. linux.cpp. So this was the root of the DOS-based terminal emulator, and obviously I'm not going to need all these VGA port output commands, so I should probably delete that because it's an easy target. Reprogram video, we'll need that. Parse video options. We'll ignore those for now, probably. Save old mode. So the first part of this will be mostly about deleting existing code. Such as that. Will I need more than one terminal? Probably don't need. I should probably start from that terminal part. Sorry that I'm going back and forth like this, but I'm trying to get my bearings to my old code so I can understand what it is doing. That will take a little while. And while I am reading it, and while I'm doing that, I'm also doing some cleanups to the code, so yeah. This editor uses WordStar compatible bindings, and also my editor does the same because that's what I like to use. Right. Echo back. We'll probably need this. Should I use 32-bit? I should probably use 32-bit characters. Adjust colors. That's probably fine. Out buffer. Why do I have a buffer that is allocated like this? Sure. I will remove that. Video page. Page system is probably also not going to be needed, so let's remove that part also. Yes, this is Joe Editor. Discord channel name is YouTube Biscuit. If you want to see the invite to that channel, then you can check that video that I uploaded recently, just like a couple of months ago or something. You can check that video, which is... Oh no, you are now seeing all my unlisted videos. So anyway, it was this video, Biscuit's channel, Discord, and so much more. Check out this video and there should be the link to the Discord server, like over here, if and when the video happens to load. Yeah, there it is, over here. Does my mouse cursor render, by the way? Yes, it does. Alright, great. Thanks, Black Ryan. Out buffer. Why do I have out buffer here? Why is it dynamically allocated? Out buffer here. Where is it used? Echo back. It is used for that. So I will probably replace that with double-ended Q. Out buffer. Don't need those anymore. Can simplify this. Echo back should use 32-bit characters, so that is it. Out buffer. That insert out. Replace with that. Code becomes so much simpler when you have an up-to-date compiler. Don't need that probably. Well, I will keep it there. So, rows and columns, half and double. Don't need those. Actually, probably don't need those as well. Text move buffer. What is that used for? CS I get. Line. Okay, I see. Why is it multiplied by 2? I don't know. My get text line. Absolutely no idea about Ligature support for fonts. I have never looked that much into font internals, so I don't know. Sorry about that. Preset attribute intensity. That's one thing. FGC translated. These should not be characters, I think. Don't need translations here. These should be kept UTF mode. What is that used for? No idea about that. We'll ignore that for a while. Do I ever use circular buffers? Do you mean ring buffers? Yes, I do, especially in embedded programming. And of course, this double-ended queue also works like that. Circular buffer, basically. Which keyboard layout do I use? I use Finnish keyboard layout, because I am a Finnish. Attribute is not 8-bit, attribute should be 32-bit, I believe. Let me check. Attribute. Yeah. There's so much craft code here. Attribute. Actually, it should be the 64-bit, I believe. That's not good. Actually, I should probably do a little bit of that rendering part now, because I need a character cell type. So cell is going to be... I need 32-bit color for foreground and background. So that's 32 bits total. And then I need a 32-bit character. Probably, because I'm going to support Unicode here. So it makes sense to go 32-bit here. And then some attributes like italic, bold, underline. What else do I need? Let's make it double underline as well, because that is technically supported in ANSI codes. Let me check here. Italic, it was italic, underline, blink is there also, faint decreased intensity. Okay, maybe. Crossed out, yeah, that's overstrike, so overstrike, strike. My first programming language was not C++. First programming language was not C++, it was BASIC. There should be double overstrike here, double underline is here, yeah. So, I was right about that. So that's probably everything. There's also framed, encircled, and encircled. Does anything support it? Let me see. Encircled. Test. 52. That is so weird. Unless the X term doesn't seem to support it. Does it support overlined? No, it doesn't. How about framed? Doesn't support that either. But it does support overstrike. Yes, it does support overstrike. And overstrike and double underline. Double underline gets translated into one underline apparently. And how about italic? Not supported by, but I am going to support that. And probably will ignore these. Yeah, makes sense. So these are what I am going to support here, so that will be like, these are 6 bits total, so that's 86 bits. It doesn't really compact nicely, so probably no sense making it a union, but yeah. Background color and foreground color. And then character code and attributes. Should these be bit fields? Italic, bool, bold, underline, underline 2, and dim and overstrike. There we go. Nicely sorted, probably by length or something like that. Yeah. What do you think about Rust and Golang? I have not actually studied Golang because I hear it has garbage collection and I don't like garbage collected languages, but I did a little bit about Rust in that Solar Jetman passwords video, and let me see, no, where was it? Well, I can actually show it you. Show it like Solar Jet. This is up to the date my only Rust program ever. This is my only Rust program ever. It was a little practice on how to do various things in Rust, and my initial impression of Rust was that it's kind of stiff. There were some clever inventions there, and I like it. I like how the language is going, but it also feels stiff, so not my new favorite language, but I support the idea of that language. Yes, I am interested in machine learning, but I have not yet begun studying it. Probably will not do bit fields here. Cell, okay. So that's a character cell. Do I need a dirty attribute? Probably will need a dirty attribute. Actually, it should default to true. Probably should put some defaults here. So this should be like gray, and this should be like black, and this should be like space, and all these rest should be default false. Default values is a great thing to have. CAN bus. By CAN bus, do you mean that communication thing with embedded things? I have no experience with that. And OPD, I don't know anything about that. It kinda reminds me of that car diagnostics thing, but I don't know about it. Yes, this is 4K. So next I need terminal window, so it's window. It contains cells. Cells, and the number of cells there says, well, it's cells. And then there's width and height. What do I also need? Well, it probably needs some kind of font, but I haven't yet decided whether I am going to use system bitmap fonts or whether I am going to use hard-coded fonts. Probably the latter, because it's something that I am going to use for my videos, so don't know yet. Probably will need also some platform-specific things here, but not sure yet. And let's see about the terminal thing. There was some kind of things about scrolling and that kind of things, so Have to see about those. Fillbox lines. My move text, my fillbox lines. So those are probably the methods that I'm going to need here. So because in a terminal emulator, yeah, thanks about the wallpaper. Python and JavaScript being currently the most popular programming languages, well, there certainly could be worse choices. JavaScript nowadays is actually quite decent. I like it. And even before ES6 I already liked JavaScript, so it's okay. Python is also great for beginner programmers. If you are a beginner, I recommend you start with Python because it's easy to get started with Python. It's not high performance, either one of those are not very high performance, but it's okay. But I still prefer C++. So fillbox. Lines. Should I do X coordinates here? I probably should do. Which attribute is going to use for that? Probably should also have an option with default attribute what it is going to use there. So to do attribute goes here. This is going to be also to do, implement later, and then move text. This is going to be vertical. It could also be horizontal. Do we actually need horizontal scrolling for this? Does ANSI escape code support horizontal scrolling? I think it doesn't support horizontal. Yeah, only vertical scrolling, so probably will not need horizontal scrolling here. Smooth text. Probably also will not need X coordinates here, but anyway. So Y coordinate starting target Y and yeah, actually it should be copy text, but yeah, those are the methods that I need there. Then what do I need this? Fillbox, text move, insert spaces, so I will actually need horizontal. Source coordinates and probably width and height. Yeah, those are the things. Please no Russian text here, nobody can read Russian here. So, what is your opinion on assembly and do you use it? For modern processors I don't really use it, but I do read it, let's put it that way. I do read it because quite many times I have to check whether some compiler does something idiotic with some code, and it's nice to be able to read it, but there's hardly any time that I have to write it. I have written some assembler code for ARM processors at work, and of course for NES emulator things you also need assembler, but not for x86 and so on. Have you ever developed your own implementation of STL? No, I haven't. Why would I do that? Well, I have implemented actually parts of it because Borderlands C++ didn't support it, but that's another topic. Mailbox, so I won't need these anymore. Term window, private attributes. I should probably keep those for later. Private attributes. Term window, should I actually use this screen for that? I probably should use that. So terminal.h. So instead of that, I will remove those. And out buffer capacity also will not be needed. So screen, was it actually screen? It's a window. So window. That's probably right. Top button. Why do I use int here? I don't know. Yes, I do still have bus driving license. Svetlana, that is an easy question. It will of course print 4. It's not Vim, it's Joe. What is this music? Nice test. Set. These are state machine things, and these are actually mostly copied from Linux source code, Linux kernel source code. VEC. What is that used for? VEC. Oh yeah, that was the Borland series. And it was a vector of what exactly? Let me see. This was terminal VEC of int, it seems. Let's do that. Backup. No idea what these are. My documentation is not always perfect. Too bad. Cursor. Recalculate cursor. And should I name these size X and size Y to match that style, or that kind of looks inconvenient? I will let it slide for now. What do you advise to read or watch for beginners in C++? What do you read or watch? If it's C++ specifically, it's the C++ reference site. Reference, this one here. If and when it loads. Yeah, this site is what I use normally, but this of course requires that you also already have some programming experience, so it's probably not the best thing for beginners, but this is something that I use regularly, and I have already mentioned that quite many times before. But for beginners, I don't know, sorry. Scroll fix, why is it that? Calculate cursor. CX. I see these are for the terminal, so there's a backup here. So actually have a backup for the cursor here. Oh. Nice test. I have no idea who made that. There's also some error code here. Open MPT module, create from memory. Oh yeah, when I go to this screen you can actually see this twice here because of my system here. What is that interface I'm using? This is a... Which one? Do you mean the terminal, or do you mean the window manager, or what? This is a command line system. The editor is Joe. should probably be charged at 32, and this should probably be... That's better. And this should probably also be STD U32 string view. Little by little. Turn on simply CPP. Also, I should probably change those file names before I get annoyed too much with those. So that's... I like this song. I increased the music volume a little bit, but I think it still ducks it quite nicely when I speak. But so that I can hear myself speak, can I actually... Hold on. Why do I actually not hear myself speak here? I should actually hear myself speak. Testing, testing. Yes, I do hear. I don't know what was up with that. In any case, I will decrease the volume here a little bit so that I can actually concentrate. So, speaking of concentrating, yes, the ducking on audio is intentional. If you can use something without the STD prefix, that is not a sign that using the STD prefix is optional. It just means that your compiler or C library or C++ library is badly designed. And if you do use it without STD prefix, it may break in some future release. I should probably use unsigned. Make that clearer. Where did I actually use this music before? Who can remember where did I use this music before? Well, it's partly refactoring. As I said in the beginning of this stream, I'm building this terminal emulator out of existing code that I have written for Borland C++, but this is going to run on Linux, and it's also going to incorporate a little bit different design in terms of rendering backend, and also have additional features there. So quite a bit is going to be involving refactoring. Honeymoon.mod. What other YouTube programmers do you watch? Any favorites? Suggestions? Well, to be honest, I don't really actually watch other programmers on YouTube. I am aware of people like that coding train guy, but really don't watch. I like to do my own thing. It's no disrespect towards any of those, but it's just how I do. What am I getting into? Is there gonna be a running Mario on the minibar? Yeah, probably. And I have also gotten copyright strikes for something. Usually they are just annoyances, but I have gotten strike before. Translate is that used for. This is going to be hairy. Not looking forward to that. So anyway, that other remote behind that. That. Probably don't need that right. Yeah, YouTube does have a big problem with false copyright strikes lately. YouTube is not really the only one in that regard, as you maybe have read on my Twitter lately. That was a little bit hotter for my comfort than I thought it would be. Coffee, by the way, this. Does it actually get... Yeah, it shows. I was wondering whether it gets chroma replaced or becomes transparent or something. The playlist I am listening is not public, but if you are interested in some particular song there, you can just read the module name here. So that should help you. It might be found on Google by that same name, the module name, but in some cases that it doesn't. Then you just have to ask someone. Link. Okay, I see what this is doing. So this is adjusting the brightness, but I'm actually probably doing like that. There was intensity and there was bold. Those are two different things. Yeah, probably not do that. I'll just ignore that for now. Leave attribute. Actually, I would need that either. If I add reverse to that. Kind of dummy because it just swaps the colors. That might make my design easier. But no, will not do that. That's not my thing. That would be necessary. That would be necessary. That would be necessary. That. The last thing is probably work. Yeah, they will not be necessary. Yeah. What is this forest arena animation I used on the background? It is from the Talos Principle. I spent some time capturing a nice looking animation there, but I was unable to match my colors so that it would look like I am in there. But My eyes, are they getting chroma keyed? Let me see. Should I put it here? Oh no. It's too bad. This is going to look horrible. Yeah. Yeah, it does awful things, that chroma key. Well, it's a compromise. That a little bit. So there's scrolling things. I should probably do them in terms of that window interface. The background is a static video. It's a MKV file. Scroll up. Scroll. This, I think, is it? Where is it defined? Why did I choose to use here Y1 and Y2? That is so not descriptive of anything. Oh yeah, in this DOS project I actually used Emulator, as you can see here. Y1 is yeah, I am not Russian. Where did you get that kind of idea? So that is not helpful. I just have to understand this goes. So this is scrolling down. So that's the target address, and the source address is this. And 500 plus amount. Really? Where's that? Oh yeah, now I understand. That is the target line. Okay. So these are separating, these two parameters here are separating the region that I'm going to move, and this is the target line number. I understand now. So that's the source address. And the target address is this. And this is the width. And this is the number of lines. Really? I guess so. And then fill box. Fill box 0. Lines, Y and lines, and fill. Okay, so that's the target address, and the width is still this one. There. Concentration amount, that should be right. And what it is going to fill it with a default cell, which is to do here. Okay, so that part is done. And then the same thing here. So the source line is here. Target line is here. And that is that. And fill box. Upper line is this. What? What am I doing? That should make more sense. Yeah. That should be correct here now. Why do you keep working on a personal pet project and not on some actually useful software in graphics or biotech, where good programmers are needed? That is actually a very good question. It's probably because I'm already doing productive stuff for my work. So when I'm at home and I am doing hobby things, then that's going to be my hobby and personal things. That's just how I divide things. What is my occupation? Is it a programmer? Yes, I do embedded programming at Etteplan. Can you make yourself louder or the ducking more extreme? I could technically. As I said earlier, I spent quite a bit of time tweaking my audio settings before I began streaming, like 8 hours. And it really depends. My microphone is over here, so it kind of depends on my distance from the microphone, how loud my voice is. But I tried to make sure that even when I'm speaking quietly, the music should be ducking quite nicely. So my get text line. So this is about copying text to insert spaces. So it is actually moving forward. So target text is here. And source X is here. And how much? This much. And height is this much. And then fill box. And that should also be windows for that window handle. Fill box. See and do one line. That's done. Write spaces without inserting, so that should be there's black holes at cursor. Yeah, so this is the opposite of this. So I kinda do need horizontal scrolling here as well. Yes, I do work as a programmer. Copy text. So the target coordinates are this one, and the source coordinates are columns minus remain, and the width is that. I believe everyone knows this song. And surprisingly, this song is not one of those that produce a copyright missile strike. Box. Really? Yeah. And that was the number of lines. Yes. Yes. Shuffle box. There we go. start to the cursor, so that was speed. Like that. Erase whole display. Because I do have that rows variable there, I should use that. What exactly are you working in your new job, and how hard it was to get a job in programming, doping unrelated to driving job before doping? It wasn't hard at all. I just basically had to have the courage to look for it. Having the courage to submit your job application to the right place was the hardest part. Fillbox. Yeah. Columns. Where do I use that fillbox function? Where is it defined? Fillbox is... what? Oh yeah, it was line. Okay, so that is correct. So XY count model line. So that is one line. Okay, I understand the difference now. So that's the width. Why is it playing it again? I don't want it to play again. Alright. That's done. And this should be stdu. Unassigned car. Well, that's not right. There we go. That is okay. It seems that way. And scroll up. That should be right. What operating system is Biscuit using? Biscuit is using Linux. How did my new employer look at your previous unrelated job like driving? Well, they were interested to hear my reasoning for that, but as I explained that I wanted to take a break, that was pretty much it. They were more interested in what I can do than what I have done. Well, they of course wanted to know what I have done professionally for this work, but as long as I explained what was going on and so on, it was done. How would you pitch C to people who find it intimidating or obsolete? Riathel asks. This is not Amiga stuff. Well, the music is, yeah, sure. How would you pitch C to people? I have to think about that. Let's not go nitpicking there. Is Linux only the kernel? Let's not go nitpicking there. Basically everyone understands what I mean when I say I'm using Linux. So there's absolutely no reason to start arguing about that. Scrollfix, why did I use scrollfix here? Okay, who can recognize? Okay, it's actually spoiled there. I was going to ask who is going to recognize this song, but pointless to ask because you can see the name on the screen, so that's not going to help me. I mean, that's not going to help me. The previous song was apparently called The Model. What embedded stuff are you actually working on your work? I should probably not elaborate too much because they are customer projects. I deal with STM32 chips mostly. That is probably enough said. I should probably have a support for the column here, so